What's up, guys? ThatOneTomahawk here, back with some more Minecraft vlogging. It's one on Breeze Island, and today is a day in which I'm probably going to do another rant a little bit later on. But right now, I'd like to say, hopefully my face does not look completely and utterly bad compared to the vlog video that I did a little while ago, you know, the Q&A, because I've tried to fiddle around with the settings of how the layout is with the compression and all that crap, and hopefully I don't look like a pale SOB anymore, and I have a little bit more of my actual color in there. Hopefully I don't look like an orange person. I don't look like Snooki, because that would be terrible as well. Jeez, why did you put the fire there? That's just dangerous. Get the... Ooh, look at that. Got a flint and steel. That would be useful in a moment. Hopefully no one's coming over here and stealing the rest of my rep, but like 90% of the time... Ah! That does not happen. 90% of the time, there's always someone who climbs up here and then tries to get my chest that usually is mine, which is almost never mine because everyone else always gets there first. But let me just get myself situated and hope that no one took it. I don't think so. Let's go up here. Is this another tier 2? I'm pretty sure it is. And it is! Oh yeah. I'm just like patiently awaiting just the interruption of someone to go into the shower. Just my recording just gets like, just stop the shower or something. You know, doing other things. It's happened like the past 2 videos. Hopefully, it's not going to be a three-peat. Which I think what else was people were expecting to be a three-peat, but wasn't. I think it was like the Lakers winning the what is it called? The playoffs. I think it was called. I don't know. It's called different stuff in each sport. It's called like the playoffs, the Super Bowl, the World Series. I think it's called like World Cup for soccer. So it's a whole bunch of different stuff. But yeah. Oh, this person's got a sword that I want. Well, you're just gonna die. Whoa! You've been lit on fire. Go into the water, please. Good. And you're gonna die now. Holy water walk! Holy water walk! The guy's doing some sprint hacks. Look at that. Oh, look, he's still water walking. Jeez, if he does, look, I'm gonna show it right now. Yep, water walking like a mother trucker. Look at that. Look at that water walk. Wow. Holy hacks. It's crazy. Look at he's running in, jumping on the water. All right, someone ban him, please. Oh, now he got kicked. I think he got kicked for flying or doing some weird stuff. Yeah, there's no mod online. He got kicked for flying. Of some sorts. That's really funny. If he's not already banned, you know, if you're a mod watching this, just like link the video in the description, in the ban report, and take 2 seconds to get him. But yeah, that was really obvious. Wow, that's really funny too. Thank goodness he didn't have anything that I needed. Wait, he might have had those boots. I'm gonna go check to see if I can go pick him up out of the water really quick. So right, I'm gonna start talking about my little rant thingy that I was gonna talk about in this video. Right after I check to see if all this stuff is there. That's good to know. So recently, you know, I was talking to my buddy Shane, and he's been getting a little pestered, and I'd say, I'd go to say that he's being bullied by a group of people. I'm not going to go into it because I'm going to respect him, and you know, keep it out. I'm just going to leave it at the fact that he was. Some people were disrespecting him and doing stuff that is not nice by any standards. You know, pretty much people were bullying Shane. You know, Shane's a strong guy. He didn't let him get to him too much, but he's still kind of annoyed at the whole situation. And what I realized is people are mean. And there's always going to be mean people in the world. But I'm going to talk about my opinion on bullying as a whole and how stupid it is compared to how much easier it would be to fix your issues. Because this is how bullying arises. Usually, if you're an abused child, you'll be led to bullying because you want to kind of get that feeling that, like, obviously, if you're being beaten, you're feeling insecure about yourself, you're not being good, you know, you're being neglected as a child, you feel like acting out by making others feel worse to put yourself above them kind of makes you feel like a moral superiority. Kind of, I know there's different forms of bullying, like bullying could be, you know, talking behind someone's back, spreading rumors, calling them names, beating the shit out of someone just because of whoever they are. I know for women it's more of a social thing, and people tend to get more bullied, you know, because like Susie is such a bitch, okay? She went out with Brian and then he cheated on her, and this crazy kind of that's my girl voice apparently. But that kind of stuff obviously is a lot more frequent with women. Kind of a dudes is just like, damn, that guy's a bastard, you know. He's a I don't know. Like I can't really necessarily think of an example at the top of my head. But point is, people who are not necessarily having good family lives may be led to bullying just to act out kind of against everyone else. Another really common one is that your people who were bullied themselves are led to bullying because obviously it's kind of like an infinite cycle, which kind of sucks, because like if you're being bullied and you turn into a bully, you're really just repeating the cycle. You're not making it any better. While you yourself are feeling temporary, niceness from the fact that you're putting someone else below you, you are literally engaging the fact, you are restarting the problem and making sure that it ensues for the rest of history. Now, I'm never into that one sort of thing about, like, if someone's bullying you, you should tell an adult, because that's some bullshit. Obviously, no one's ever going to tell an adult, because they feel the need that it's their own problem, they need to sort it. And the problem is, I can agree with that. Like, obviously, you don't need to talk to an adult. You can handle your stuff on your own, but you need to know how to do it correctly. Don't go and say, okay, fight me here and here, because that's not going to accomplish anything. I'd say accomplishing something would be, if you're smarter than the person, swear them out kind of intellectually, make them look like an idiot. But I wouldn't say lashing out against the problem, like ensuing it any further, is going to help your situation. As for me, if I ever see someone bullying someone else, I'd obviously stick up for them. I remember this was one time in PE. This is a very small example. Last year, there's this one douchebag in my class. Yeah, sorry I called him that. That's just what I like to call him. If I said a bad word, I'm apologizing. But it was a very minor thing. He went to, like, everyone was getting a drink of water after we were finished doing our 1 mile sprint or whatever, and there was kind of like a line for it, because there's only one water fountain. Everyone's running away from me. That's really annoying. And he goes to the front of the line, pushes some kid out of the way, and he starts getting this drink. I'm like, hey man, get the fuck out! Like, there's a line here. What the hell are you doing? And he was just like, I forgot his response, but he was just like, you want to go, kid? I'm like, come on, fuck off. And then he did, because I'm assuming no one would have given him that response anymore, or before. Standing up to bullies is quite an easy thing, while it might be necessarily a scary thing at the same time, because I know sometimes bullying can be given by your so-called friends, people who decide that they're going to insult you behind your back, but then later on they're like, no, we're friends, we're cool. No, these people are not your real friends. What I realized is, back when I was in elementary school, when I was in elementary school, I was best buds with Shane and a bunch of other people. And when middle school went around, the first I think it was like the first year and a half, I went to another group of friends because I wanted to be part of the popular group. I've never actually said this before. I went to another group of friends because I wanted to be a part of the popular group. That's kind of how I fell into it. Not necessarily I was just like, hey, fuck you guys, I'm going over here. No, I went to the other group of friends because that's why I felt like, I felt popular. I don't know why I did that sort of thing. But these people, I could tell, they're not my real friends. They're at least, some people weren't my real friends, because they're pretty much people who would, make fun of you behind your back and yet still consider you to be their friend because they, want to take advantage of you in one way or another. And what I realize is you need to find out who your real friends are and who your real friends aren't. And once you find out who your real friends are, you can, instead of going to an adult if you're being bullied, because no one's going to do that, you can talk about it to a friend. Because I realize that communication, whether it be with a family member or a friend, which is usually you'll tell a friend, or if you're close with your family members, you could tell your family, or if you're not, you don't have to, or you could keep it all to yourself. These are really all just suggestions that I'm making, but talking about it to a friend really does help. A close friend, someone you could trust not to tell anyone anything if it's a sensitive topic. Talking about things always makes people feel better. I remember, I think it's just me, I'd go over to my buddy Shane's house and then Thomas would be there, and I remember we were there until like 1 a.m. having this whole philosophical, discussion about, what were we talking about? We were talking about school, like socialness, or, social status in school, and how, like, it doesn't necessarily matter in the long run. Pretty much nothing matters in the long run. I remember reading this thing. I was reffing for my brother's soccer game because I do that for volunteer work, and I have to do it to get my brother's points for his soccer team, whatever. I read this thing, and it says, 100 years from now, it's not going to matter what car I drove, what house I lived in, who my friends were, or anything. And then sort of just like live in the moment or something like that, and it kind of got to me because I think I thought of it more of in the dark way, just saying pretty much whatever we do, we're all destined to die. But I can also see it in the way that whatever happens in the short term doesn't matter in the long term for your life. That means pretty much everything that happens with you right now, whatever school you're in, if you're in high school, elementary school, middle school, it doesn't matter 20 years from now, because you'll be living your life knowing that those people who were the bullies, who were complete dumbasses, will be doing the jobs in which you can laugh at them, saying that I was the one who came up on top and you ended up on the bottom. You know, I started from the bottom, now I'm here, kind of thing. But so I'm thinking if you're really ever bullied, or if you ever see someone bullied, you should stand up for them. You don't necessarily need to. The reason why I'm like, you don't need to tell an adult is because telling an adult kind of always leads to more issues on the topic. Because if someone finds out, you know, you were a snitch, blah 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 blah. I know they'll have like assemblies saying no, you know, it doesn't matter and all this other stuff. But really, if you want to not be, like, you know, ridiculed by everyone and not institute more of an issue, you can handle it on your own, but handle it in a smart way. Make it a way that if someone who you were harassing and they wanted to stand up to you, something you could be like, you could respect their decision, as opposed to instituting more anger. You kind of want to stop the, like, you know, you have obviously this certain anger build up. You don't want to cause any more of it. You kind of want to work out the issues and make sure they're resolved in the end, if that makes any sense. So, you know, if anyone's being bullied, just think about it. Talk to a friend, you know, stand up to the bully. I'm just gonna say things do get better, you know. Like, I've been, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a victim of being bullied before, but I do know what it feels like to not have actual friends and having real friends to always lean back on, or, you know, there's always someone you could talk to. That's pretty much what I learned. And I guess that's pretty much the end of my argument. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of MCSG with Tomahawk, and I hope you guys have a nice day, please. Brah!